am choosing the best Ice-type Pokemon to represent each generation. And if you guys haven't seen my video on this before where I chose the best Ghost-type Pokemon in each region, basically how this series goes is that we're basically going to show what Ice-type Pokemon got introduced from each region, and then out of that batch, we are choosing one, yes, only one Ice-type to represent that whole region, basically signifying that that specific Pokemon is the best Ice-type. If you guys haven't watched my videos before, how I do my rankings or how I choose who is the best is not solely based on the competitive level of that said Pokemon, because honestly, look, every other Pokemon channel, a lot of the popular ones mainly discuss how they are competitively. They discuss their stats, EV, IV stats, like that's mainly what they care about. But because I'm stupid, because I honestly just don't really give a fuck about that world, these type of videos that you'll see on my channel, I'm basically picking them based on their design, the lore. Sometimes when I like the lore of a Pokemon, I really like that specific Pokemon, so they cook with those two specifically, and if they are basically intertwined with each other, my lord, okay, that's all I gotta say. And honestly, to dumb it down on most of my videos, I am basically solely ranking these Pokemon just based on their straight vibes and how much I fuck with them. And honestly, maybe you could call it bias, or maybe sometimes too nostalgic, or I'm like nostalgia baiting, whatever it may be. This is just how I feel, you know. This is why I love Pokemon, because so many people can have different opinions on said Pokemon and people can rank them differently. So if you guys enjoy this specific content, please let me know, because if so, then I'll make this a series of doing every single typing. Yes, I will do every single one. I mean, I've already done Ghosts because of the Halloween holidays, right? Make sure you click that and watch that video. And honestly, doing the Ice type today because Christmas is right around the corner, or depending how the editing process goes, maybe it's going to be a little bit after Christmas. Doesn't really matter because it is in that space. So before we get into this though, make sure you guys like this video. If you enjoy the content, subscribe, okay, please. Try to hit 2K. That would be sick if we could do that. Hit that bell notifications, because you know YouTube can be very stupid sometimes when it comes to recommending videos to subscribers. So if you hit that, you'll definitely get notifications right away. Also, join the Discord community. It'll be so much more fun. We got more people in there, so we could just talk about a bunch of bullshit together. Follow the Twitch, gonna start streaming soon, and follow all the other socials. Links to everything in the description below. Okay, disclaimer, we're not including Pokemon that can be every type. Example, Arceus and Silvally, you know, they become that specific typing based on an item that they hold. So we're not doing any of that. There's gonna be like no Megas, no Gigantamax forms, none of that. So now officially we are starting with Generation 1. So fun fact about Gen 1, there was actually no official pure ice types that got introduced. For some reason, I don't know why I thought they had at least one, but no, they didn't have any, because all of the ones they introduced were dual typing, which included Jinx, Dugong, Cloyster, Lapras, and Articuno. So yeah, to me, my favorites, and kind of what took me the longest to decide on who I would choose to represent Gen 1 was between Lapras and Articuno. Obviously Lapras, because it's honestly one of the GOATs, especially if you grew up watching the anime. I mean, it was Ash's main water rider. Pause. And Articuno is just a sick design to me, and it's such a sick lore coming from the first ever legendary trio that we ever gotten. And I just love the fact that Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres are, you know, the Uno, Dos, Tres, and how they're all different type of birds is just super sick to me. But after hard consideration, and I will let you know kind of what the deciding factor was, the winner for the best ice type Pokemon in Generation 1 goes to Lapras. Mainly because the lore behind Lapras I really fucked with more. I mean, Lapras is basically based on, and it's a mix of like a prehistoric marine reptiles, and they're called Plesiosaurus. Whoa, that kind of sounded, if you know, you know. But also took inspirations from the mythical Loch Ness monster, which honestly, that's pretty tough, and has a little bit elements of a turtle, right? Like the little shell it has. With all that mixed, I mean, bruh, how can you not choose Lapras to represent Gen 1? Next up is Generation 2. So Generation 2 introduced a couple of more ice types, but again, all dual typing, surprisingly. And they are Delibird, Sneasel, Smoochum, Swinub, and Paloswine. But to me, when I thought about it more, this generation was a little bit easy because of the fact of this one Pokemon I feel like represents Christmas. It might have been spoilers, but the winner for the best Ice-type Pokemon Gen 2 is Delibird. Like I said before, this Pokemon is the embodiment of Christmas. It literally delivers presents. I mean, shit, one of its moves is literally called Present. So yeah, if you're you're hating about this pick, well, fuck you, because I'm a huge lover of Delibird. Next one is Generation 3. Okay, so Generation 3 finally introduced some pure ice type Pokemon here, which are Glalie, Regice, and Castform, and Snorunt technically in the later generations. The other ones that got introduced was Feel, Celio, and Walrein. Honestly, this generation was a lot more easier than the previous two because I will admit I was stuck between two Pokemon. The first one was Feel, only because it's so fucking adorable. It's literally a ball, bruh. I mean, kind of makes you want to drop kick it, but it's so cute. And Walrein, because it was Wallace's ace, the champion from Emerald, but obviously there could only be one. And for me, the winner for the best ice type Pokemon in Generation 3 is Regice. Yeah, I know, right? I literally tricked all of y'all and you guys fell for it. Yeah, no, Regice is the toughest, okay? This is one of my favorite, honestly, legendaries and ice types out there because, dude, all of the Regis are just so tough, okay? And the lore behind each one is just so beautiful. I mean, shout out Regigigas for creating these three. But each of them represents the different eras from our world, being the Stone Age, the Iron Age, and with Regice obviously representing the Ice Age. That is tough, okay? Damn. The next one we're gonna talk about is Generation 4. So this gen, we got introduced to some interesting ice type Pokemons, but the Pokemon we got introduced are Glaceon, Weavile, Mamoswine, Frostlass, Snover, Abomasnow, and Frostrotom. Abomasnow was close to winning, shout out to it, because its design is so fucking sick. I love the dual typing of it being grass and ice. It's so unique. I mean, it's literally a tree yeti. But for me, this generation, I believe that this said Pokemon really represents Generation 4 as a whole, giving us this whole new element of the added evolutions. And the winner for the best ice type Pokemon in Generation 4 is Mamoswine. Oh my gosh, I love Mamoswine, and it's honestly one of my favorite added evolutions that we got in Generation 4 because it's freaking based on a woolly mammoth. And Swinub and Paloswine, they were cool, but they were just very mid. You know, there's nothing special about them, and I just never added them on my team, never once touched them. But for Mamoswine, when this came out, I had to have it every single time on my runs for Diamond and Pearl. I mean, dude, woolly mammoths are literally one of the most coolest prehistoric mammals in history. Now we're moving on to Generation 5. So this generation introduced some new ice types. Obviously, we got a little bit more pure ice types, I would say, but Pokemon that we got were Vanillites, Vanillish, Vanillux, Cubchoo, Beartick, Cryogonal, Kyurem, and technically Kyurem White and Kyurem Black. Honestly, I will say if I had to compare all the generations that came out till Generation 5, this batch was a little bit underwhelming. And y'all know I be glazing Generation 5. It was a lot easier to pick who the winner is to represent Generation 5. So the winner for the best ice type Pokemon to represent Generation 5 is Kyurem. Honestly, there was a little thought in my mind that I might have picked the ice creams, right? Because I mean, shit, they're freaking ice cream, right? That's perfect to represent for this specific video. But I kind of had to think logically here because Kyurem, yes, I mean, dude, this dragon monstrosity is so fucking tough, and the lore behind Kyurem is insane. He was the essential part of the sequel games, and without Kyurem, you wouldn't have Black or White Kyurem. I mean, technically, it's a byproduct of those specific legendaries. All right, next one we're gonna go is Generation 6. So Generation 6 actually didn't really introduce a lot of ice type Pokemon, so this will be really quick. This generation introduced Amarua, Aurorus, Bergmite, and Avalugg. And yeah, it was between Amarua and Aurorus. I mean, shit, it's kind of obvious. That line is pretty cool. And the winner for the best ice type Pokemon in Generation 6 is Aurorus. They cook with this line and they cook with this fossil Pokemon. Amarua is really cute and it's a good design, but Aurorus is just a lot better, obviously, because it's the final form, so you're getting more of what it's based on, what it represents in the Amar. Okay, guys, I'm sorry, my pronunciation is also. I have to read it because I'm a dumbass. Because it represents Amargasaurus. Amargasaurus, the long-necked dinosaurs, right? Now we're moving on to Generation 7, and surprisingly, Generation 7, similar to Generation 6, didn't really introduce a lot of ice-type Pokemon, so this one's also gonna be fast. You know, fun fact, actually, there's only one new ice type that came out in this generation. So what we got introduced to were Alolan Vulpix and Ninetales, Alolan Sandshrew and Sandslash, and Crabominable. This one was very easy. The best Ice-type Pokemon to come out in Generation 7 is Crabominable. Look, I will say, the Alolan forms, the Ninetale line and the Sandslash line, my lord, they cooked with all of them. Next one we're going to talk about is Generation 8. And this one, okay, we started getting introduced to more Ice-type Pokemon. We got introduced to Snom, Frostmoth, Mr. Rime, Ice-Cube, Arctozolts, Arctovish, Galarian Mr. Mime, Galarian Darumaka, Galarian Darmanitan, and the legendaries were Glastrier and Ice Rider Calyrex. So there are some that got introduced, and obviously the Galarian forms were super tough. Also, shout out to the fossil concept here. It was a great concept. It was honestly very different than what we've been used to, but just wasn't really a fan of its designs that it had. So for me, the winner for the best Ice-type Pokemon in Generation 8 goes to Ice-Cube. Oh, yeah! I know y'all are shocked from that pick. I know you guys weren't expecting that shit. No, Ice-Cube, it's number one, okay? I don't know. I feel like I'm like one of the only few Ice-Cube fans, but dude, this mon perfectly represents this generation, obviously, but this whole video, it represents the Ice type. I mean, it's based on a freaking real penguin, right? That, you know, has the concept of the ice cubes that it has on his head, which, you know, it's real. I love that lore. That's so sick. And they made that Pokemon based on that shit. And it's called Ice, you know, Ice, right? Cube, literally the embodiment of ice type, of ice Pokemon, of vanilla ice, of Ice Cube, of Ice Cube, of Ice Spice, ice everything, ice everything. Now we're finally to the last generation, Generation 9. The Ice type Pokemon that we got introduced were Citoddle, Cetitan, Iron Bundle, Frigibax, Arctibax, Baxcalibur, and Chien-Pao. Yeah, honestly, to me, I think they introduced quite a good batch here for Generation 9. The whole Baxcalibur line I really like. I mean, it's based on freaking Godzilla. And because also I love Delibird from Generation 2, I had to love Iron Bundle. It's same Pokemon, but it's a more futuristic robotic Delibird. I mean, shit, how can you not like that? And then Chien-Pao, one of the coolest designs, being part saber-toothed tiger with also swords as its teeth. I mean, the lore of Chien-Pao is just super interesting and super deep. I mean, Chien-Pao itself is in the Chinese mythos, but I would look up the lore and fully read what Chien-Pao is based on because it's super tough. But the winner for the best Ice-type Pokemon in Generation 9 is Chien-Pao. Yeah, honestly, I truly believe as an Ice type, Chien-Pao definitely should represent Generation 9 because Chien-Pao honestly is so fucking tough. As its design is sick, as I mentioned, the lore already, but it's just so unique. I don't know, like, I think the whole Chien line that we got introduced, those legendaries, were super unique. I actually really like all of them, but Chien-Pao is my favorite. But yeah, honestly, Pokemon cooked with Chien-Pao. I mean, cooked. That is it, y'all. That is officially all of the best Ice-type Pokemon that Hoon had decided on to choose to represent for their respected region. And yes, in total, there was 9 different winners, and these are all said 9 Ice-type Pokemon that represents each region. Take a good whiff at it. I don't know why I said whiff, because you're looking at a screen right now. Doesn't really make sense you smelling the screen. I mean, if you do. And again, if you guys like this concept, please comment down which type you guys want me to do next. Top comment I will make as a priority. But as a reminder, like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe, hit that bell notification, join the Discord, follow the Twitch, just do all of that. And I'll love you for the end of time. But I truly hope you guys enjoyed. Again, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, or if it's a little bit after Christmas, you know, Merry post-Christmas, right? Hope you guys did something fun. Hope you guys got that PS5 y'all been asking for, okay? But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.